Welcome to the VoIP Drupal hands-on experience. In this first session, we will set up and configure the basic VoIP Drupal modules. We'd like to thank the many developers and users of Drupal that have contributed to this project, and we know it will make the world a better place. It'll just continue to grow. This webinar will walk you through enabling VoIP Drupal modules and their basic configuration of Tropo, which we'll be using as a VoIP provider. We'll go step by step through the administration screens. And the requirements for today are that you have Drupal 6 installed and running on an accessible server that you can reach on the internet. Drupal administrative permissions so that you can enable modules. Server access to upload modules in case you would like to follow along with some of the things we'll be showing later. They're optional. You don't really need to install anything else. Tropo.com account. The account is free and you can use it while you're developing. And you must have curl enabled on your server. If you're not sure if you have this, you can check with your server administrator. Most servers running Linux do have this installed. What are the potential applications for VoIP Drupal? Well, you know, VoIP Drupal is a platform and many applications can be built on top of it. An application would be a call center, language training course, story recording, group communications like call blasts. Our goals for today are making a VoIP Drupal script interact with a phone. We're going to set up a Tropo account and create a web API. We're going to set up VoIP Drupal server configurations, and we're going to set up the VoIP Drupal default call configuration. We'll learn how to select scripts, voices, and languages. Editing a sample script, there'll be no programming involved, and we'll take a peek at visual VoIP Drupal just to inspire you. At the end of the session, we'll all call the conference line and join a conference and say hello. Okay, so your basic server requirements, once again, we need Drupal 6 installed. It must be accessible on the internet. Our server is running Linux with Apache, MySQL, and PHP, the typical LAMP stack. You'll need PHP curl installed on your server. Check with your administrator. Both Tropo and Twilio as VoIP services use curl, so you will need it installed to make this work. You can set up clean URLs in your Drupal site. There's a setting under your admin screens for clean URLs. And if you don't have them, that doesn't really matter. You can still follow along. Your URL will just look a bit different. You'll need an FTP account with administrative access if you want to upload any modules. So as I was speaking of clean URLs, our demo test site for the webinar is set up using clean URLs, and this means that it removes the /, and equals sign in your URL. This is helpful if you have search engine requirements. Search engines do not like these symbols. So you want a clean URL looking like this. If you're not using clean URLs, you will have these symbols in them. These are the VoIP Drupal modules. The ones in the orange block on the bottom. These are the core modules. These are the ones we will be working with today and the ones we'll install. We'll walk through installation and configuration of some of these modules. And the ones in the top orange block, these modules are optional. They have some great features, like you can assign an extension to every user or every node, voicemail, click to call, which we'll briefly look at a little later. And these orange ones are ones that will be released very soon. They are working on them right now as we speak. Okay. These are the required modules that you will need for today's experience. They're listed under the VoIP Drupal category on your modules page. And if you're just uploading them now, you would go to drupal.org and look for the VoIP Drupal module, which is right at this URL here, /project/VoIP Drupal. And these submodules come with the core module. In addition to the VoIP Drupal module, you may want to install two modules that most Drupal sites can't live without: CCK and Views. These are the URLs to them. As I said, most Drupal sites have these installed and can't live without them. The optional modules, well, CCK and Views, those are two of them. VoIP Drupal Script UI, this you will already have when you download the core VoIP Drupal, but you can enable it if you would like. And Click to Call, this is where the Click to Call project lives. You can download and install that if you'd like. Totally optional. Right, so go to your modules list if you've already downloaded, and under the VoIP Drupal section, you're going to enable these four modules: VoIP Call, Drupal Core, VoIP Sample Scripts, and VoIP Tropo. If you did choose to download the Click to Call modules, you'll notice they fall under two fields on the module list. One is in the CCK area, and this creates a Click to Call field on any content that you have. That would be right here. And these three modules are the basic Click to Call that makes the widget appear in a block. You'll see Click to Call interacts with blocks heavily on your site. Now, what about those README files when you're downloading modules? I know we're tempted to just install and enable. You might want to take a look at the README files. Why? Because occasionally there's something very important in the README file that you may just need to get going. This is a sample README file from the VoIP Tropo module. Now, this is a submodule that comes within your VoIP Drupal package of modules, and it has a README file in it, and it says, I will need a Tropo account. Well, you knew that because of this webinar today. You knew that you would need a Tropo account, but if you had just downloaded this from the web, you might not know that you needed a Tropo account, and you might have thought everything was included, so you would be stuck and wondering, why isn't your application working? This is how things work. Information goes back and forth. There's a phone user, a VoIP provider, we'll be using Tropo, Drupal, and other modules that VoIP Drupal interacts with, like actions, triggers, rules, notifications, and the web user. So basically, the phone user would call, they would reach the VoIP provider, which would send them to your Drupal site, and depending on your setup and configuration, it would play the script that you had selected or interact with actions, triggers, and rules, and then send them the information that they requested, be it a page or a media file or a recording, whatever. Okay. So let's go to tropo.com and set up an account. The toughest thing about setting up the Tropo account will be the CAPTCHA. Hated it. Terrible. Right, next, in your Tropo account, we're going to create an application. You're going to select Tropo Web API. Okay, next you're going to create your web application, your Tropo Web API. And you're going to have to put in the URL to your VoIP Tropo call handler, and this is what handles all the scripts that you'll be using. It is in the README file of the VoIP Drupal and VoIP Tropo. Here is the URL in red. Once you do that, you can add a phone number. You just choose Add a New Phone Number within your Tropo account. Once you've added a phone number, you can fill in the information about the URLs with that URL part we had in red, VoIP Tropo Call Handler. And you can do it for the SMS field too, if you have chosen a US number. You'll notice Tropo's SMS configuration field, this area here, will not show up until you've chosen a US number for your web application. And you'll notice we're using clean URLs here. Once again, if you do not have clean URLs, your URL to your call handler will look like this. It will have the question mark, the Q, and the equal sign. Okay, next you're going to launch your outbound tokens on the Tropo site. These are issued by Tropo, and you just click on the voice token or the messaging one, and then a pop-up window will appear, and you'll click on the Launch Token button. All right. Now, back on your Drupal site under the default server configuration, and that's in the admin tools under your VoIP Drupal section. Go to the default server configuration and make sure that Tropo is selected here as your default server. Then you'll click on Configure, and you will paste those tokens into this screen right here, your outbound message tokens. And remember, do not share your tokens because they're issued by Tropo and they're connected to your personal account information. Now, below the tokens, this is where you'll choose the voice and language that you want your script or message to be read in. We've chosen a default female voice in English, a default man voice, and a default woman voice. This means that you can set a default voice for all scripts, and when you create a new feature that uses a script, if you do not select a voice, it will use this default one. Most scripts and blocks that you can create with VoIP Drupal give you access to choose a voice and a script right from within their interface. So for those options, you could choose a default man or a default woman voice. So that, say you chose Allison as the female voice here, you'd probably want to choose that as the default woman's voice too for English. Okay, and back up in the admin features under the default call configuration, we'll go to the call configuration screen. You can choose any name for the user ID and the caller ID number. This will be shown when the Drupal system calls a user. You can add in a text number if you want it to appear as a different number. If you don't, if you want it to appear both under this number, you can leave this blank, and this will default to the original number. You can choose an inbound call script. Now, this is the default inbound call script. This is the default outbound call script. So the default inbound, this means whenever someone calls your VoIP Drupal number, this is the script they will hear. This drop-down list, there's about 20 plus scripts in there that are sample scripts that you can choose from, and you can edit them, change them, make them your own. The outbound script is pretty much the same thing. This is when you are using click to call, when a person puts their number into your website, into a field on your website, and then the site calls them. This is the message that will be played. The last drop down, this is for text. This is an inbound text script. So when someone sends a text message to your website, they will get this in reply. Okay, and we're using Drupal's SMS framework. We're not using SMS framework. That's something you could look into if you'd like. Where are the Drupal scripts? Where do they keep them? Well, they're right at yoursite.com/VoIP/VoIP scripts. That's very intuitive. They are right there, and if you go there, you will see, if you're not using clean URLs, don't forget you'll have to put that Q and the equal sign in there. And we're going to enable the conference call script. So we look at the scripts at yoursite.com/VoIP/VoIP scripts. We can see there are a bunch of scripts in here. Click to call answering machine, main menus, all kinds of scripts. Now, what is in a script, you're probably wondering. This is a very simple script. This would answer and say hello world when you call the number, and then it would hang up. That's a script can be actually that simple. Here's a more complex script to an office hotline, and you can see there are many things in here that you could edit. All of the bold text, for instance, like for sales, dial 1, for customer support, dial 2. You could obviously change that, say for the library, dial 1, for the dining hall, dial 2, and then you would change it down here, dining hall, study hall, whatever. Okay, so that's just what a more complicated script looks like, and that's just one of them. Scripts can get very complex depending on what type of interactions you want them to do with the rest of Drupal. Right, what to do when things go wrong? Well, things can go wrong. As you see, the images went wrong here. Some issues you may run into include busy signal, call hang-ups, no answer. Well, here's some things you can do to troubleshoot them. When you set up a phone number with Tropo, it can take time for it to be propagated, so you have to be patient. It could take up to a few hours. Make sure that Tropo is selected as the default server in your default server configurations. Check your server's call log. Everything is recorded there, and it will give you some good information. The call logs are found on the Drupal administration menu under VoIP Drupal call/log. So it would be admin/VoIP/call/log. And you'll see a link to it on your admin toolbar under the Drupal links, Drupal VoIP Drupal links. Tropo.com offers a real-time debugger so that you can see what is happening on their server when a call is initiated. You'll find this in your Tropo account page. Go there, click on the link, and then try calling your VoIP Drupal number. You'll see where it's dying. Check for typos in your inbound and outbound tokens issued by Tropo. I would copy and paste those. All right, so let's test the system. In the default call configuration settings, we're going to use the drop-down list to check the VoIP script join conference and then save. Okay, so the wonderful thing about the conference, and it's been a secret till now, is that the conference room is a number that you will just make up. You will make it up on the fly. So it would be a 3-digit number. So if you're going to have a conference, you would just give someone your VoIP number and then make up an extension number. And as long as they dial that extension number, the 3 digits, and you dial the same 3 digits, you will be connected in a conference room. Right, so the conference for today is 397. Okay, so we're going to call, and we're going to dial 617-981-4636. Then we hit call.
Please type in the 3-digit number of the conference room you would like to join.
Dial 333.
333. To accept this number, press 1. To type it once again, press 2. To hang up, press the pound key.
I pressed 1.
Join conference room 333.
Hello, conference. Well, as you can see, that was the generic voice of Dave ushering us into the conference room. So that was using Tropo, our phone number, and the Drupal site. So I'd just like to let you know the key benefits of the platform. It facilitates the construction of a unified communication system, meaning that it integrates text, email, web, and voice all in one place through your Drupal website. Makes Drupal accessible from any phone. No data plan is required. It enables the expansion of community plumbing beyond the web. Works with other Drupal modules like actions, triggers, rules, etc. It's open source and free. Benefits for administrators: be easy installation and configuration, no programming required, fully customizable, enable only the features you need, runs as part of the Drupal system itself. Gives you enhanced user interaction with ready-to-use scripts like the audio blogs, click-to-call fields, phone recorder, let people record their own voices, and much more. For developers, there's a well-defined API that can be extended to other VoIP services. So there's 20 sample scripts that can be customized included. There are 20 VoIP Drupal modules that have already been implemented with common functionality. And there's simple yet powerful PHP scripting language called Dialplan. Is very easy to use, so that there's a very short learning curve. Any PHP developer would look at it and say, oh my God, I can really make this do some things. There's also a visual programming language for novice developers and fast prototyping. Next, we'll learn what we can do with VoIP Drupal without any programming skills at all, and how to modify a few scripts to suit your needs. All right, we've got some upcoming webinars that we're working on. It's in episode 2. We'll walk through the setup and configuration of modules that are user-friendly. No programming skills. Set up advanced interaction of the phone with your Drupal site. Okay, so with little or no programming at all, we'll explore what Drupal and VoIP Drupal can do together right out of the box. So these are a few modules that we'll cover. Click to call. Your website can make outgoing calls. Amazing. Audio field. You can collect audio or use audio from other sources, audio recorder, phone recorder, small office script, audio blog, and extensions, so that you can assign an extension to any node or any user of your website. Basically, Click to Call is a very neat little module. It has two admin screens, one for the general settings and one for blocks. Click to Call mainly works with block. This is one style of the block that it outputs. You could change this text to say, contact me, or send me your number, type your number here. They would type in their phone number, the system would call them. Okay, so Click to Call appears as blocks. Go to your blocks administrative screen and choose how many blocks would you like Click to Call to be using, and you can enable them on any page. So you could have 10 different Click to Call boxes on each different page of your site. They could all be for different reasons, different phone numbers, different extensions, different users, different nodes. It's up to you. The choices are many. For our third webinar, we're going to cover the setup and configuration of Visual VoIP Drupal Workspace. What a wonderful tool this is. It helps novice and beginning programmers drag and drop pieces of script into a workspace. Now, the workspace, you can contain multiple scripts. So as you see, I've got 2 scripts going in this workspace. So I may be working on 2 semi-related scripts, and I want to see both of them at the same time. This is perfect for that. And you'll just drag pieces over into the workspace. So I would just drag these right over to here. Right, let's go create and edit a script in the sandbox. Open a browser and go to voipdrupal.org. Log in on the left with the username VoIPTest, password VoIPTest. This is for those of you that did not install Visual VoIP Drupal. So those of you who did, you can log into your own site and follow the rest from right here. On the right, click on Create VoIP Scripts. For those who are not at the sandbox and on your own site, this would be under Create Content, and you should see a new entry for VVD Workspace, because you're not just creating one script, you're creating a workspace. So we'll go to the link on voipdrupal.org and edit the text. We'll open the script, and we'll edit the text within the script that says your message here. You can put as much text or as little as you like. Save the script. On the right, click on Create VoIP Scripts, and then you've created that script. On the right, under that, you'll click on Listen to Your Own VoIP Scripts. Click on the Scripts Demo. When you do, you'll see that familiar drop-down list with the choices of scripts. Okay, so you're going to fill in a title, select the script that you just created from the Click to Call list, save it, and then click on the title link that appears. Type in your phone number. The system will call you, and you will hear the message that you typed when you typed over the words, your message here. This is what the sandbox looks like. Create your Visual VoIP script, listen to your scripts. So try it out. It is amazing. These are the things we accomplished today. We created and enabled an application in Tropo. We enabled the VoIP Drupal modules. We set up the VoIP Drupal server config. We set up the VoIP Drupal default call configurations. We selected scripts, voices, and languages for messages. We edited a sample script, and we did not do any programming. We took a peek at Visual VoIP Drupal just to inspire you, and we visited the VoIP Drupal sandbox. These are ways to get involved. Join groups.drupal.org/VoIP-Drupal. This is where we have ideas and present new things and ask questions. and basically discuss VoIP Drupal, the uses, the great things it can do, things we've done with it. You can go and play in the sandbox. It's a wonderful place. That's where new modules for VoIP Drupal are released first, and you can be among the first people to go and see them there. You could create, if you're a developer, you could create new modules based on the VoIP Drupal platform. If you're an admin, you could create new sites using VoIP Drupal. We'd love it if you contribute to code and documentation. Organize meetups in your area using meetup.com. It's pretty easy. Help us spread the word using social media. And don't forget, support goes both ways in the community. Give some and you get some. For upcoming VoIP Drupal events, stay tuned to the groups page for future dates of future webinars. Don't forget, office hours are every Wednesday at noon. We'll be answering questions and discussing VoIP Drupal related topics. To participate, meet us in the newly created VoIP Drupal chat room. It's an IRC chat, and you can find this posted on the groups page. I'd like to thank you for coming. My name is Micky, and I'm making a Drupal connection. Connect to Drupal, connect to the world. Thank you.